Hey there, I'm Mary Obana, and thanks for joining me for this quick episode of the Shine podcast. I usually release episodes every other Friday, but I felt compelled to share some thoughts amidst all the stuff that's going around us right now. So, what makes me so sad about everything that's happening is the duality of it all, thoughts, words, and actions all steeped in comparison, opposition, differentiation. And I've long heard this idea that we're all one, but to be honest with you, I never really got it. I'm like, what? I don't really understand that. Then I heard this explanation that kind of struck a chord with me. And it turns out the idea of all of us being one really is just a matter of perspective. And so let me share what that kind of explanation was so you can maybe it'll strike a chord in you. So it went something like this. So you're walking around and along this beautiful path and you come across this big boulder, huge boulder, beautiful in its form and its color, the way, the rock kind of catches the glistening of the sun when it shines upon it. Um, and it's just this beautiful one thing. But if you go deep within that boulder, it's actually comprised of countless atoms, each seemingly independent, separate, doing its own thing. But when you pull further and further back, what you see is all these atoms have worked together to make this one thing, this one magnificent, beautiful boulder. So this is kind of what it made me think about. It made me think that we're like atoms, right? Seemingly independent, different, separate, but with a shift of perspective, we actually are part of one thing, one humanity. We're all inextricably connected, actually. So maybe I thought, if we thought of ourselves as one thing, one people, one humanity, we treat our parts differently. Would appreciate one another in times of sadness like we're in right now. We would comfort one another. We'd love one another as we would want to be comforted and loved, right? So God knows I do not mean to lecture. I don't know anything more than anyone else. Believe me. I just share this in the hopes that maybe we could see our commonality rather than our differences. That we can see the best in others, that we would like others to see in us. Um, and I know our thoughts turn to words and our words turn to actions. And I think we can all benefit from a reminder, and myself absolutely included, that we, you know, should live from our hearts, not our minds. And maybe, just maybe, we can shift some things. This book I wrote and the idea of finding your light, and sharing it, it is a focus on connectedness. It's about activating the light within each of us and letting it shine, because everyone's light has more to do with its impact on others than on ourselves. Um, you will ignite the light in others by igniting your light. So when lights connect, joy and can be fully experienced and you feel connected to something larger than yourself, there's joy, there's a lot of love, and there's peace. So it's like that stadium experience. A stadium is filled with people of all sizes, shapes, backgrounds, interests, colors, everything. And then one person kind of ignites their light, and then another, and then another, and then another. And before you know it, that whole stadium is beautifully and gloriously lit up. Then imagine, just imagine one stadium connected to another stadium, one nation connected to another nation, worlds connected to worlds. Imagine a place where there's nothing but shine, nothing but love, nothing but peace. I know sometimes, I know I do, we can feel helpless when things like this are happening. Like, we can't do anything to change things, like, nothing that we do could ever make a difference, but in that example of that stadium, it all starts with one light. It all starts with one light. And I guess what I wanted to share is just a message, just say, let's all ignite the light within each of us so we can all shine and replace that anger and frustration and discord with love, compassion, and kindness that we all have within us. So I guess my message is let's go within so we don't all go without. Thanks for listening.